I wanted to take a couple of minutes and put forth my alternative version of simulation hypothesis. So, if you don't know what simulation hypothesis is, it's the idea that we live in a computer simulation. Um, a lot of people say living in the Matrix. That's different. In the Matrix, there's a body that's hooked up to a machine that the thing is fed into. Okay? That's not really what simulation hypothesis is. Simulation hypothesis says that our entire existence is a computer simulation. Um, now, there's a lot of actual, factual, real life research on this. But when I see it, I think a lot of it comes from the point of ancestral simulation, that they started a simulation to see how things would go and maybe nudged here and there, changed the program to get us where we are. I disagree with that, and I think that the simulation that was run may have been of the Big Bang. So when you run computer simulations, you put all the data in. You set the one I love to go to is Scorched Earth. If you remember the game Scorched Earth, where you could change the gravity and the wind and all of that stuff. So some programmers, some coders, some whatever you want to call them, God, put infinite gravity with infinite material into a simulation with percentages of elements and things like that. Now, why would you do that? Well, you could say they were trying to find out what would happen if they used a bunch of hydrogen and like no uranium or whatever, like helium or whatever. I mean, the variables are infinite, but that they would say, okay, well, in our universe, in our understanding of things, we see a lot of X. In our universe, the one we encounter, we know that hydrogen is the number one thing in the universe. It's the most abundant thing. So they said, well, what if we had more of this or more of that? So they tinkered with a number, they put it in, they put it under infinite gravity, or the closest to infinite gravity they could get it before it expanded, to see what would happen. Well, we know from our sun that, simple metallurgy, the chemistry and physics and things like this, that it gets really, really hot. It turns into another thing. Atoms separate. Different things are created. All of the wonderful, spectacular things that happen in the universe. So my theory is that they ran this Big Crunch simulation and said, I don't care about the crunch part. I want to see what happens after. Where does it go? We on this side spend all of our time trying to figure out those millionths of a second after the Big Bang. They start with the before the Big Bang, and they see all of the data afterwards. Now, inside that simulation, all of the things that we're what they're looking for. Did life create? Did at that point, everything is energy. There is no mass. Everything is energy. So we're all energy. We get that. We know that our atoms and our everything that is solid is made up of energy made solid. So what happens? Why do we have a planet that like it rains sulfur, or we have a nebula that's made of alcohol? You see all of those things happening, and they happen what we would call organically inside this simulation, because everything was put there. Now, What was the number I heard last night? 10 to the 22nd power. So that's 10 with 22 zeros after it. The possible planets on which life could occur. Life as we understand it. Now, maybe there's a form of life that we don't understand. Maybe there's an entirely energy-based life form that that we've kind of joked about, beings of light and all that stuff. Some people take that very seriously. I'm not saying it's a joke. I'm just saying that maybe that's a real thing. That the energy didn't become a solid, but still became sentient. So those things would happen on different platforms of that simulation. But our time, what we see as 13.6 billion years, is simulated time. It's unreal time. We could all be existing in the flash on a super duper duper computer screen. But for us, because of relativity, we're inside of it. It seems to be going slower because for them it's going super fast, but for us, we're inside of it. So I know it sounds ridiculous, but it doesn't sound any more ridiculous than anything else. Well, honestly, it doesn't sound any weirder than any religion or any other thing out there. Okay, so I am an atheist. I do not believe in the existence of gods or God or spirits or leprechauns or things like that. I say that the same way you say you don't believe in Santa Claus. Maybe it's real, but the proof given to me has not been convincing enough to make me believe that that exists in any form. The numbers, and when they get into supersymmetry in string theory, they find computer code. You can look this up, and it's a specific type of code. It's not just zeros and ones. It's not a binary, but it is a type of code used in our window browsers, in our internet browsers and stuff. That these things exist in the core, in the most super fundamental parts of our universe. Can't be an accident. But it could be. I don't know. It might just look that way because humans love to see patterns. We love to make things look like things that they don't look like. Oh, there's a man in the moon. No, that's just a picture. That's just a no. But it could be that we are living in a simulation of creation. Now, does that mean on the computer next to us, our little computer's doing this, on the computer next to us, they've put in infinite gravity with, more platinum than hydrogen or whatever. They've ticked all the little boxes with numbers and said this is what this simulation will look like. Who knows? Maybe. It doesn't answer the next question. It doesn't go above the ultra real. It doesn't. I can't tell you who created them. I can't tell you if they're real. I can't tell you if we're not on the dying end of a blip on a computer. I don't know. I don't really care. I'm just fascinated by it, and I think that everybody's kind of coming at it from the wrong way. They're coming at it from they wrote a simulation with life in it, and I think that if we go the other direction with it and say they wrote a simulation to see if life would create, makes more sense. So, besides the occasional cough, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below.